Quran, chapter 50, Surah Qaf by Sayyid Qutb, translation by Muhammad Al-Amrani. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Qaf, by the glorious Qur'an. Nay, but they marvel that a warner has come to them from among themselves. And so the disbelievers say, "This is a strange thing." What? When we have died and become dust, shall we indeed be brought back to life? That is a far-fetched return. We know full well whatever the earth takes away of them, for with us is a record well guarded. Nay, but they have denied the truth when it came to them, and so they are in a state of confusion. Do they not observe the sky above them, how we have built it and adorned it, and there are no rifts in it, and the earth we have spread it out and set upon it firm mountains, and caused to grow therein every kind of beautiful plant? A vision and a reminder for every servant who turns to God. And we send down from the sky blessed water, and thereby we bring forth gardens and grain to be harvested, and tall palm trees laden with clustered dates as sustenance for our servants, and with it we give life to a dead land. Thus will the resurrection be. Before them, the people of Noah denied the truth, as did the people of Al-Ras and Thamud, and the Ad and Pharaoh, and the brethren of Lot, and the dwellers of the thicket, and the people of Tubba. All of them gave the lie to the messengers, and thus my warning came true. Were we then wearied by the first creation? Nay, but they are in doubt about a new creation. Verily we created man, and we know what his soul whispers to him, for we are closer to him than his jugular vein. When the two angels receive his deeds, seated on the right and on the left, not a word does he utter, but that there is with him a watcher ready to record it. And the trance of death will bring the truth. This is what you were trying to avoid, and the trumpet will be blown. This is the day of God's warning, and every soul will come forth, attended by an angel to drive it on, and another angel to bear witness. And God will say, "You were heedless of this. Now we have removed your veil, and sharp is your sight this day." And his companion will say, "Here is his record, ready with me." And God will say, "Cast into hell every obstinate disbeliever, hinderer of good, transgressor and doubter, who has set up another god beside God. Cast him into severe punishment." His evil companion will say, "Our sustainer, I did not lead him into rebellion, but he was himself far astray." God will say, "Do not dispute before me, for I had already given you the warning. The word does not change with me, and I am not unjust to my servants." On that day we will say to hell, "Are you full?" And it will respond, "Are there any more?" And the garden will be brought near to the righteous, no longer distant, and it will be said, "This is what you were promised." For everyone who constantly turned to God and kept his limits, who revered the beneficent one unseen and came with a heart turned in devotion. Enter it in peace. This is the day of eternity. There they will have whatever they desire, and with us there is more. And how many a generation we destroyed before them, who were mightier than they in power, yet they searched through the lands. Was there any escape? Truly, in this is a reminder for whoever has a heart, or gives ear and is a witness. We did indeed create the heavens and the earth and all that is between them in 6 days, and no weariness touched us. So bear patiently with what they say, and glorify your sustainer with praise before the rising of the sun and before its setting, and glorify him during part of the night and after the prayers. And listen on the day when the caller will call out from a near place, the day when they will hear the mighty blast in truth. That is the day of resurrection. It is we who give life and cause death, and to us is the final return. On the day the earth will split open from them, and they will come forth hastening. That is a gathering easy for us. We know best what they say, and you are not a tyrant over them. So remind by the Qur'an whoever fears my warning. The messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, used to recite this surah in his sermons for Eid and Friday prayers, making it the central theme of his address to the large congregations. Indeed, this surah has profound significance. It is awe-inspiring in its truths, intense in its rhythmic structure, vivid in its imagery, and forceful in the sound of its closing phrases. It seizes the soul from all sides, follows it in its innermost thoughts and movements, and tracks it in its secrets and outward actions. It follows it with the watchful eye of God, a watchfulness that never lets it go from birth through death to resurrection to assembly to reckoning. It is a rigorous, exacting and awe-inspiring watch, encompassing this frail human being completely and comprehensively. Man is in the grasp that never loses sight of him, that never neglects his affairs, whether small or great. He is never left alone, not for a moment, not for an instant. Every breath is counted, every thought is known, every word is written, every movement is recorded. This complete and awe-inspiring surveillance is imposed upon the whispers of the heart, just as it is imposed upon the movements of the limbs. No veil, no screen can obscure this penetrating surveillance, which has full knowledge of the secret thoughts and whispered conversations, just as it has full knowledge of outward actions and movements at all times and in all circumstances. All these are well-known truths, but they are presented in a style that makes them seem new, shocking the senses with the surprise of discovery, shaking the soul, stirring it, and causing it to tremble with fear, with admiration, with the jolt of awakening from heedlessness to the overwhelming, terrifying reality. All of this is intertwined with the images of life, of death, of decay, of resurrection, of the assembly of mankind. It awakens the sense of the impending hour, making it loom large in the soul. It points to the cosmic realities manifest in the heavens and the earth, in water and in plants, in fruits and in blossoms, as a sight and a reminder for every servant who turns to God. It is difficult to summarize or classify such a surah, to convey its truths, its meanings, its images and its shades of meaning in any style other than its own Quranic expression, which radiates these truths, meanings and images directly to the senses and to the conscience. Let us then proceed to examine the surah itself, and God is our only help. Qaf, by the glorious Qur'an. 1. Nay, but they marvel that a warner has come to them from among themselves, and so the disbelievers say, this is a strange thing. 2. What? When we have died and become dust, shall we indeed be brought back to life? That is a far-fetched return. 3. They marvel that a warner has come to them from among themselves. Yet there is nothing strange in this. Rather, it is the natural order of things that a messenger should be chosen from among them, someone who feels as they feel, who speaks their language, who shares their lives and experiences, who understands their motives and inclinations, who knows their capacity and endurance. He is sent to warn them of what awaits them if they persist in their ways, to guide them to the correct path, to teach them the duties that the new direction requires of them, and he shares with them the burden of these duties. They marvel at the message itself, and they marvel particularly at the concept of resurrection, which this warner has introduced to them as the foundation of the Islamic world view. The idea of resurrection is a fundamental pillar of the Islamic faith. It forms the basis upon which the entire belief system rests, as well as the overall conception of life that flows from this faith. The Muslim is called upon to stand for truth, to oppose falsehood, to strive for good in order to eliminate evil, to dedicate his entire activity on earth to the worship of God, directing all his efforts toward God. And there must be a reward for this work. This reward might not be fully realized in this life, so it is deferred to the final reckoning at the end of the journey. Thus there must be another world, and there must be a resurrection for the final judgment in that world. If the foundation of belief in the hereafter crumbles, the entire understanding of the true nature of this faith and its obligations collapses along with it. The soul will never remain firm on the path of Islam without it. But those people did not approach the matter from this perspective at all. Instead, they viewed it from a simplistic, naive angle, far removed from any understanding of the true nature of life and death, or from any recognition of God's infinite power. They said, "What? When we have died and become dust, shall we indeed be brought back to life? That is a far-fetched return." 3. In their view, the issue was merely the improbability of life being restored after death and decay. It was a perception rooted in Jahiliyyah, for the miracle of life which occurred once can certainly occur again. Furthermore, this miracle takes place before their very eyes at every moment, surrounding them on all sides in the vastness of the universe. This is the aspect that the Qur'an addresses in this surah. Before we proceed to examine the Quranic reflections on life and the cosmic signs, let us pause at the notion of decay and disintegration, which is exemplified in their statement and the subsequent commentary. What? When we have died and become dust. 3. Thus people die, and they turn to dust. Anyone who reads this account of the disbeliever's words will inevitably turn inward, reflecting on his own self and on those among the living around him. He will picture death, decay, and disintegration. Indeed, he may even feel the creeping decay in his own body, although he is still alive above the dust. There is nothing like death to seize the heart of the living, nothing like decay to fill him with shudders and trembling. The commentary deepens this sensation and strengthens its impact, as it depicts the earth consuming their bodies little by little. We know full well whatever the earth takes away of them, for with us is a record well guarded. 4. It is as if the expression brings to life the movement of the earth, as it dissolves their hidden bodies, consuming them bit by bit. It portrays their bodies as they disintegrate steadily, gradually wearing away. God says that He knows what the earth takes from their bodies, and that all of this is recorded in a well-guarded book. They do not vanish into oblivion when they die and turn to dust. As for the recreation of this dust, it has already occurred once, and it continues to happen all around them in the perpetual process of life that never ceases. Thus, the Quranic touches soften and tenderize hearts, making them sensitive, responsive, and well prepared to receive the truth, before engaging directly with the issue itself. Then, the Qur'an reveals the true nature of their condition, which gives rise to such weak objections. Indeed, it is because they have turned away from the truth that the ground beneath them has become unstable, and they no longer find any firm footing. Nay, but they have denied the truth when it came to them, and so they are in a state of confusion. 5. This is a unique and vivid expression that portrays the state of those who abandon the firm foundation of truth, leaving them in a condition of perpetual unrest. Truth is the solid point upon which one who believes in the truth stands, with his feet firmly planted. His steps do not falter, for the ground beneath him is stable and does not shake, nor does it sink or collapse. Everything around him, except for the firm foundation of truth, is unstable, turbulent and shifting, lacking stability and security, lacking strength and endurance. Whoever leaves this solid point of truth will find his feet slipping into that turbulent confusion, losing stability, losing peace of mind and composure. He will forever be in a state of turmoil, unable to find rest. One who departs from the truth is tossed about by whims, buffeted by uncertainties, gripped by anxieties, torn by doubts. His efforts are scattered here and there, his positions swing from one extreme to the other. He cannot find refuge from his bewilderment in any stronghold, nor can he find shelter in any secure haven. He is in a state of confusion. It is a remarkable expression, one that captures the inner tremors of hearts, as if they are movements that the eyes can follow. Continuing with the theme of the firm, stable and majestic truth, while simultaneously addressing their objections to the reality of resurrection, the Qur'an points to manifestations of truth in the very structure of the universe. It directs their attention to the sky, to the earth, to the mountains, to the water descending from the sky, to the tall palm trees, to the gardens and plants, all expressed in a manner that harmonizes with the theme of the firm, stable and beautiful truth. Do they not observe the sky above them, how we have built it and adorned it, and there are no rifts in it? 6. This sky is a page from the book of the cosmos, proclaiming the truth that they have forsaken. Have they not observed its majesty, its stability, its immensity? And have they not seen its adornment and beauty, its flawless perfection, free from any cracks or gaps? Stability, perfection and beauty, these are the qualities of the sky, qualities that correspond to the theme of truth here. Thus the Quran speaks of its construction, its adornment, and its lack of any fissures or flaws. Likewise, the earth is a page from the book of the cosmos, embodying the same stable, firm and beautiful truth. And the earth, we have spread it out, and set upon it firm mountains, and caused to grow therein every kind of beautiful plant. 7. The stretching of the earth, the firm immovable mountains and the beauty of the plants, all these reflect the same qualities of stability, firmness and beauty that the Qur'an directs attention to in the sky. With the sky towering above, built and adorned, flawless and beautiful, and with the earth spread out below, stable and adorned with firm mountains and beautiful plants, the Qur'an touches their hearts, guiding them to the wisdom behind creation and to the message conveyed by these cosmic pages, as a vision and a reminder for every servant who turns to God. 8. This vision unveils the veils, illuminates the insight, opens the hearts, and connects the souls with this wondrous cosmos and the wisdom, creativity, and order that lie behind it. It is a vision that benefits every servant who turns to God in repentance. The connection between the human heart and the rhythms of the universe. This is the link between the human heart and the rhythms of this vast, beautiful universe. It is this connection that gives meaning to our contemplation of the universe's book and our understanding of it, making it resonate within the human heart and granting it significance in human life. This is the connection that the Qur'an establishes between knowledge, science, and the human being who seeks to know. It is also the connection neglected by the so-called scientific methods of inquiry in this era. These methods sever the bond that God has established between humanity and the universe in which they live. Humans are a piece of this universe, and their lives cannot be sound or upright unless their hearts beat in harmony with the pulse of the universe. Their hearts must forge a strong connection with the rhythms of this great cosmos. Any knowledge of a star, a celestial body, a characteristic of plants or animals, or the properties of the universe as a whole, and all that it contains, whether living or non-living, if indeed there exists anything truly inert in this existence, must immediately transform into a rhythm that resonates within the human heart. It should become an intimate familiarity with this universe, a bond of friendship between humans and the things and beings around them, and a sense of unity that ultimately leads to the creator of this universe and everything within it. Any knowledge or science or research that falls short of this vital life-guiding purpose is incomplete knowledge, false science, or barren research. This universe is the open book of truth, readable in every language and comprehensible through every means. Anyone can browse it, whether the unlearned inhabitant of a tent or hut, or the sophisticated dweller of towers and palaces. Each person reads it according to their capacity and preparedness, finding therein nourishment of the truth, provided they approach it with a yearning for truth. It is ever present, open at all times, as a vision and a reminder for every servant who turns to God. But modern science obscures this vision and severs the bond between the human heart and the eloquent, expressive universe. This is because it is confined to heads, clouded by the myth of the so-called scientific method, a method that severs the link between the universe and the creatures that live within it. The method of faith does not detract from the fruits of the scientific method in acquiring knowledge of specific facts. Rather, it enriches it by connecting these individual facts to one another, linking them to the greater truths, and connecting the human heart with them, thus connecting it to the laws of the universe and the realities of existence. It transforms these laws and truths into rhythms that influence people's emotions and lives, rather than merely leaving them as cold, dry pieces of information stored in minds, devoid of any of their beautiful secrets. The method of faith must reclaim its place in the field of research and studies, to bind the scientific truths we uncover with this profound connection. After this reflection, the Qur'an continues to present pages of truth from the book of the universe, leading us toward the issue of resurrection and revival. And we send down blessed water from the sky, and thereby we bring forth gardens and grain for harvest, and tall palm trees laden with clustered fruit as provision for our servants. And with it we give life to a dead land, thus shall be the resurrection. Qaf 59:11. The water descending from the sky is a sign that revives dead hearts before it revives the dead earth. Its scene has an undeniable effect on the heart. It is not just children who rejoice at the rain, running light-footed. The sensitive hearts of adults also breathe in this scene and clap for it like innocent children, fresh from the purity of their innate nature. Here, water is described as blessed, and it is made in God's hands the cause of bringing forth gardens of fruits, grain for harvest, and the tall, majestic palm trees. The palm is further described as having clustered fruit, a description meant to highlight the beauty of the well-arranged clusters of dates on the stately palms. This aligns with the atmosphere of truth and its shadows, the lofty, beautiful truth. God touches the hearts by reminding them of the blessing of water, gardens, grains and palms with their clustered fruit as provision for our servants. This provision is driven by God, nurtured by Him, and its fruits ripen for His servants, though they neither appreciate nor give thanks. At this juncture, the Qur'an brings the journey of the entire universe to its final destination, and with it we give life to a dead land, thus shall be the resurrection. Qaf 50:11. This is a process that is continuously repeated around them, familiar to them, yet they do not pay attention to it, nor do they notice it before they raise objections and express astonishment. Thus shall be the resurrection. It will follow the same pattern with the same ease. Now, after the long and beautiful cosmic rhythms have been gathered and focused on the human heart, it is stated as a simple fact. God, the creator of hearts, knows how to address them. The Qur'an then follows this with a quick glance at pages from human history, after presenting those pages from the book of the universe. These pages speak of the fate of those who denied the truth, who quarrelled, just as these polytheists do, about the issue of resurrection, and who rejected the messengers, just as they reject them now. Consequently, they were overtaken by God's inevitable, inescapable warning. Before them, the people of Noah, the people of Al-Ras and Thamud, denied the truth, and so did the people of Ad, Pharaoh, the brethren of Lot, the dwellers of the thicket, and the people of Tubba. All of them gave the lie to the messengers, and thus my warning came true. Were we then wearied by the first creation? Nay, but they are in doubt about a new creation. Qaf 50:12-15. Al-Ras refers to a concealed, unbuilt well, while the dwellers of the thicket likely refer to the people of Shu'aib. As for the people of Al-Ras, no further details are provided beyond this mention, and the people of Tubba, Tubba being the title of the kings of Himyar in Yemen, are also briefly referenced. The remaining nations are well known to the Qur'an's readers. It is clear that the purpose of this swift reference is not to delve into the details of these nations, but rather to strike their hearts with the image of the downfall of those who denied the messengers. What stands out here is the emphasis on the fact that all of them gave the lie to the messengers. This is a deliberate point, meant to affirm the unity of the message and the unity of faith. Whoever denies one messenger has in fact denied all the messengers, for they have all brought the same message. The messengers are brothers, constituting one community, like branches of one deep-rooted tree. Every branch is a summary of the characteristics of the whole tree, an image of it. Whoever harms one branch has harmed the entire tree and all its branches. Thus God's warning came true, and they met the fate well known to the listeners. In the shadow of these destructions, the Qur'an returns to the very issue they reject, the issue of resurrection, and asks, were we then wearied by the first creation? Qaf 50:15. The creation is an evident reality requiring no answer. Nay, but they are in doubt about a new creation. They are in doubt despite the first creation standing before them as clear evidence. What does one deserve who denies when such an obvious witness stands before him? Verily, we created man, and we know what his soul whispers to him, for we are closer to him than his jugular vein. When the two angels receive his deeds, seated on the right and on the left, not a word does he utter, but that there is with him a watcher ready to record it. Qaf 50:16-18. The verse begins with the statement, "Verily, we created man," an implicit reference to the necessary implications of this statement. The maker of a machine is most knowledgeable about its structure and secrets, even though he is not its creator, for he neither brought its material into existence nor shaped it. How much more, then, does the creator of man, the one who brought him into existence, know him Man has come forth directly from God's hands, so his essence, his reality, and his secrets are fully known to his Creator, who is aware of his origin, his state, and his destiny. We know what his soul whispers to him. Thus man finds himself exposed, with no veil to hide behind. Everything within him, all his faint and hidden whispers, is known to God, paving the way for the day of reckoning which they deny and reject. And we are closer to him than his jugular vein, the vein that carries his very lifeblood. This is an expression that conveys the inescapable grip, the direct surveillance over man. When one contemplates this truth, they must surely tremble and hold themselves accountable. If the heart truly took to heart this phrase alone, it would not dare utter a word displeasing to God, nor would it dare allow even a single unworthy thought to cross its mind. This phrase alone is enough for a person to live in constant caution, perpetual fear, and ceaseless self-examination. But the Qur'an continues to intensify this surveillance, depicting man as living, moving, sleeping, eating, drinking, talking, and remaining silent, all under the constant watch of two angels, seated on his right and left, recording every word and action the moment they occur. When the two angels receive his deeds, seated on the right and on the left, not a word does he utter but that there is with him a watcher ready to record it. Qaf 50, 17, 18. Here, watcher means one who is present and ready. It does not imply, as some have thought, that the names of the two angels are Raqib and Atid. We do not know how they record, and there is no need to engage in speculation rooted in our limited human imagination. Our stance regarding these matters of the unseen should be one of acceptance, believing in their meaning without delving into their exact nature, which offers us no benefit. Moreover, such knowledge lies entirely outside the scope of our human experiences and understandings. We, in our limited human capacity, have discovered means of recording that our ancestors could never have imagined. These means record movement and sound, such as audio tapes, film reels, and television. All of this exists within our human sphere. How much less, then, should we attempt to confine the angels to any particular method of recording, derived from our limited and distant human concepts, which are entirely unrelated to that unknown world, about which we know nothing except what God has told us, and no more. It is enough for us to live in the shadow of this vivid reality, to feel, as we prepare to speak or act, that there are those on our right and left recording our every word and deed. These records will be presented before God, who does not overlook even the smallest particle or the slightest trace. Let us suffice with the knowledge that we live under the weight of this awesome reality. It is a reality, even if we do not fully grasp its nature. It exists in some form, and there is no escaping from its existence, for God has informed us of it, so that we may take it into account, not so that we may waste our efforts in vain speculations about its nature. Those who benefited from this Qur'an, and from the specific guidance of the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, regarding the Qur'an's truths, approached it in this way. They felt it deeply, and they acted according to what they felt. Imam Ahmad narrated that Abu Muawiyah reported from Muhammad ibn Amr ibn Alqamah al-Laythi from his father, from his grandfather Alqamah, from Bilal ibn al-Harith al-Muzani, may God be pleased with him, who said that the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A man may speak a word that pleases God, not realizing how far it will reach, and God will inscribe for him his pleasure until the day he meets him. And a man may speak a word that displeases God, not realizing how far it will reach, and God will inscribe for him his displeasure until the day he meets him." Alqamah used to say, "How many words have I been prevented from speaking because of the hadith of Bilal ibn al-Harith?" This hadith was also reported by Al-Tirmidhi, Al-Nasai, and Ibn Majah, and Al-Tirmidhi declared it authentic. It is also narrated that Imam Ahmad, while experiencing the throes of death, was moaning. When he heard that his moaning was being recorded, he stopped until his soul departed. May God's pleasure be upon him. Thus, these men received this truth and lived by it with certainty. This is the page of life, and behind it, in the book of humanity, is the page of dying. And the stupor of death will bring the truth. This is what you were trying to avoid. Qaf 50:19. Death is the thing that the human creature most tries to evade, attempting to push its shadow far from his thoughts. But how can he do so when death is a relentless pursuer who never tires, never slows his pace, and never misses his appointment? The mere mention of the stupor of death is enough to send shudders through one's limbs. And while the scene is displayed before him, the human being hears, "This is what you are trying to avoid." Even while still in the realm of life, he trembles at these words. How much more so when they are said to him while he is in the throes of death? It is authentically reported that when death overcame the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, he began wiping the sweat from his face and saying, "Glory be to God, verily death has its stupors." And he said this despite the fact that he had chosen the companionship of the Most High and longed to meet God. So how must it be for anyone else? The stupor of death and the revelation of truth. It is noteworthy that the Quranic expression mentions the word truth in the verse. And the stupor of death will bring the truth. Qaf 50:19. This suggests that, at the moment of death, the human soul sees the full truth, without any veils. It perceives what it had been ignorant of, what it had denied, but far too late, at a time when such realization is of no benefit, when no vision can avail, no understanding can help, no repentance will be accepted, and no faith will be counted. This is the very truth they had rejected, which led them to the state of bewilderment and confusion. And when they finally recognize and believe in it, it is of no use to them. From the stupor of death, the scene moves to the terror of resurrection and the dread of judgment, and the trumpet will be blown. That is the day of the threat. And every soul will come forth, along with a driver and a witness. Qaf 50:21. You were heedless of this, so now we have removed your veil, and today your sight is sharp. Qaf 50:22. And his companion will say, "This is what I have ready with me for judgment." Qaf 50:23. And it will be said, "Throw into hell every stubborn disbeliever, hinderer of good, transgressor, skeptic, who set up another god with God, so cast him into the severe punishment." Qaf 50:24-26. This is a scene so overwhelming that just imagining it should make one live their entire life on earth in constant watchfulness, fear and anticipation. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is reported to have said, "How can I enjoy life when the one assigned to blow the trumpet has already placed it to his lips, bent his forehead, and is waiting for the command to blow?" They asked, "O Messenger of God, what should we say then?" He replied, "Say, sufficient for us is God, and he is the best disposer of affairs." So the people said, "Sufficient for us is God, and he is the best disposer of affairs. And every soul will come forth, along with a driver and a witness." Qaf 50:21. Every soul will be brought forth, the soul itself which will now be held accountable and which will receive its recompense. Accompanying it will be a driver to bring it forward and a witness to testify against it. These two might be the angels who recorded its deeds in the worldly life, or they might be others. The first interpretation seems more likely, as this scene resembles a procession being led toward a trial before the Almighty. In this terrifying moment, the soul will be told, "You were heedless of this, so now we have removed your veil, and today your sight is sharp." Qaf 50:22. Your vision is now clear, no longer obscured by any veil. This is the moment you neglected to prepare for, the reckoning you never took into account, the end you did not expect. So now look, your sight today is sharp. Here the soul's companion steps forward, most likely the witness who holds the record of its life. And his companion will say, "This is what I have ready with me for judgment." Qaf 50:23. The record is prepared, ready and complete. There is no need for further preparation or delay. The narrative does not mention any review of this record, hastening instead to the pronouncement of the divine command to the two angels, the driver and the witness. Throw into hell every stubborn disbeliever, hinderer of good, transgressor, skeptic, who set up another god with God, so cast him into the severe punishment. Qaf 50:24-26. The mention of these attributes, stubbornness, disbelief, hindering of good, transgression, doubt, and associating partners with God, intensifies the horror and severity of this moment. These are ugly traits deserving of the most severe punishment. The terms stubborn disbeliever, hinderer of good, transgressor, skeptic, and one who set up another god with God are all expressions of divine anger in this moment of terrifying reckoning. The command is then reaffirmed in a manner that needs no further emphasis, so cast him into the severe punishment. Qaf 50:26. This emphasizes his place in hell, which was already decreed when the judgment began. At this point, the soul's companion, trembling with fear, hastens to distance himself from the accused, fearing association with the crime. His companion will say, "Our sustainer, I did not drive him to transgression. Rather, he was far astray of his own accord." Qaf 50:27. Perhaps this companion is different from the one who presented the records. It may be the demonic companion assigned to tempt and mislead him. Now it disowns any responsibility for his misguidance, claiming that it found him already astray and merely took advantage of his waywardness. There are similar scenes in the Qur'an where the demonic companion disavows the human companion in this way. Still, the first interpretation cannot be ruled out. The companion could be the angel charged with recording his deeds. The terror of the moment causes him to rush to declare his innocence despite being blameless, to make clear that although he accompanied this wretched soul, he had no hand in its misdeeds. This disavowal by the innocent is a powerful indication of the dreadful, shattering horror of the scene. Here comes the final word that ends all argumentation. God will say, "Do not dispute before me while I had already presented to you the warning. The decree will not be changed with me, and I am not unjust to the servants." Qaf 50:28-29. This is not a place for disputation, for the warning has already been delivered, and the decree is now set. Nothing will be altered, no one will be wronged, for the judge is just and fair. Thus, the terrifying scene of judgment ends with all its dread and intensity. But the overall scene is not yet complete. The Quranic narrative unveils another, equally terrifying aspect. On the day we will say to hell, "Are you full?" And it will say, "Are there any more?" Qaf 50:30. The entire scene is presented as a dialogue, a terrifying image of hell being asked if it is filled and hell insatiable, asking for more. The stubborn disbelievers, hinderers of good, and transgressors are cast into hell in wave after wave, piling up in heaps. Then hell is asked, "Are you full?" And it responds with the burning hunger of a gluttonous devourer. "Are there any more?" What an overwhelming, terrifying image. Yet on the other side of this horror there is a gentle, comforting scene, one of peace, welcome, and beauty. It is the scene of paradise, brought near to the righteous, appearing close to them, with greetings of honour and grace. And paradise will be brought near to the righteous, not far. It will be said, "This is what you were promised." For every penitent and mindful one who feared the most compassionate unseen and came with a heart turning in devotion. Enter it in peace. This is the day of eternity. Qaf 50:31-34. The honour is in every word, in every movement. Paradise is brought near. They do not need to exert themselves to reach it. It comes to them not far. And the bliss of contentment greets them alongside paradise. This is what you were promised. For every penitent and mindful one who feared the most compassionate unseen and came with a heart turning in devotion. They are described with this noble quality by the exalted assembly, knowing now that in God's estimation they are penitent, mindful, reverent of the unseen, and returning to him in obedience. Then they are invited to enter in peace for an eternity of bliss. Enter it in peace, this is the day of eternity, Qaf 50:34, and from the highest assemblies it is announced that their reward is limitless. They will have whatever they wish therein, and with us is more. Qaf 50:35. Whatever they propose, they will not exhaust the treasures prepared for them, for what God has in store is boundless. Then comes the concluding passage of the Surah, like the final notes in a symphony, revisiting its strongest chords in a swift, powerful touch. A reminder of the past generations and their fates, a reminder of the open book of the universe, and a reminder of the resurrection and gathering in a new scene. Along with these reminders comes a deep, compelling appeal to the hearts and souls. And how many generations before them did we destroy, greater in power than them, who searched throughout the land for escape? Is there any place of refuge? Qaf 50:36. Indeed, in that is a reminder for whoever has a heart or listens while witnessing. Qaf 50:37. The same truth is reiterated, but now with a new force, a new vitality. The verse adds the image of past generations roaming the lands in search of escape, yet none could escape the grip of divine power. Is there any place of refuge? There is none. Then it is followed by a fresh reminder. Indeed, in that is a reminder for whoever has a heart or listens while witnessing. Qaf 50:37. In the fates of past nations lies a reminder for anyone who possesses a heart. If this reminder does not move them, it is because their hearts are dead, or worse, they may not have a heart at all. But even for one who merely listens attentively, the story is enough to stir the soul, awakening memories and reflections in this most moving, dramatic setting. Earlier, the Surah presented pages from the book of the universe. Do they not look at the sky above them, how we have built and adorned it, and there are no rifts in it? And the earth, we spread it out and cast within it firm mountains and cause to grow therein every beautiful kind of vegetation. Qaf 56:7. Now it adds another truth to the earlier reminder, and we created the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them in 6 days, and no fatigue touched us. Qaf 50:38. This fact emphasizes the ease of creation, of bringing into existence this vast universe. How then could resurrecting the dead be difficult when it is but a small matter compared to the creation of the heavens and the earth? The passage is then followed by a new inspiration. So be patient, O Muhammad, over what they say, and exalt God with praise of your sustainer before the rising of the sun and before its setting, and from part of the night exalt him and after prostration. Qaf 50:39, 40. The rising and setting of the sun, the coming of night, these are all phenomena tied to the heavens and the earth, and linked to them is the glorification, praise and prostration to God. In the shadow of these cosmic signs, the prophet is urged to endure patiently the denials of those who reject the resurrection and God's power to bring forth life again. A new atmosphere now surrounds this repeated reminder, an atmosphere of patience, praise, glorification and prostration, all connected to the pages of creation and the manifestations of existence that stir the senses whenever one looks to the heavens and the earth, whenever one sees the sun rising or the night falling, whenever one bows in prayer at dawn or dusk. Then comes another subtle link to the cosmic scene, as the prophet is told to be patient, to glorify and to prostrate, all while anticipating the great momentous event that could occur at any time, day or night, unheeded by those who remain in neglect. The very event around which the entire surah revolves, the core theme of its message. And listen for the day when the caller will call out from a place near. The day when they will hear the blast in truth. That is the day of emergence. Indeed, it is we who give life and cause death, and to us is the final return. On the day the earth breaks apart from them, hastening forth, that is a gathering easy for us. Qaf 50:41-44. This is a new striking scene of that dreadful day. The first expression of it was in another form, with another image, when it said, "And the trumpet will be blown, that is the day of the threat, and every soul will come forth, along with a driver and a witness." Qaf 50:20-21. Now it is expressed as a blast, and the scene is of the emergence from the graves, with the earth splitting apart, revealing all those who had passed away during all of history's journey. The graves, countless in number, split open as the dead emerge, bodies, bones, remnants and particles scattered across the earth known only to God. It is a scene beyond the imagination. In the shadow of this tumultuous scene, the truth they disputed and denied is firmly established. Indeed, it is we who give life and cause death, and to us is the final return. Qaf 50:43. That is a gathering easy for us. Qaf 50:44. This declaration comes at the most fitting moment. In the midst of this awe-inspiring scene, the prophet is reassured, strengthened in the face of their arguments and denials regarding this obvious, undeniable truth. We are most knowing of what they say, and you are not over them, a tyrant. But remind by the Qur'an whoever fears my warning. Qaf 50:45. We are most knowing of what they say. Qaf 50:45. And that is sufficient for you, for knowledge has its consequences upon them, and this is an implicit veiled threat, and you are not over them a tyrant. Qaf 50:45. You are not tasked with forcing them into belief. This matter is not in your hands, it is in ours. We are their watchers, and they are under our care. But remind by the Qur'an whoever fears my warning. Qaf 50:45. The Qur'an shakes hearts and stirs them. No heart that understands and fears can withstand the profound truths it presents. When a surah like this is revealed, it needs no tyrant to force belief. It contains a power and authority unmatched by any force. Its rhythms strike the human heart with a force more profound than any whip of the oppressors could ever manage. And true is the word of God, the Most High.